and went off traveling, searching as a soldier of fortune into the known worlds. And I would assume in the process, being sort of a mercenary slash soldier of fortune, I met you guys along the way. And you're not really my entourage. You're just sort of a group of like-minded individuals, with a loose affiliation, a loose common purpose,
Okay.
seeking our fortunes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be a mercenary, I absolutely see like where maybe we work together on a couple of jobs at some point.
Exactly.
Cool. Um, okay, so you guys are coming to Pandemonium because Devona actually was very interested in the Second Republic tech that is housed here because Pandemonium, just to give you a quick overview, is a very mineral rich planet and has a very high guild presence, and also it's run by the Decados. So the hub is the main city of this planet and is really the only center of civilization left. There are like pathetic shacks that exist outside of the hub, and there are maybe tribes out in the wild. But all civilization is centered in the hub. Um, and because there is almost no church presence here, I mean, there are church people here, but there's very little church presence administratively. Um, it has actually gotten to the point that the bazaar on the hub is known as a sin market. In other words, they sell high technology that the church condemned, but doesn't have the power to actually ban here. So, Devona was very interested in this Second Republic tech, as well as having heard rumors that there's actually an Anunnaki ruin somewhere on this planet. You guys have traveled here to Pandemonium, and as you start to approach Pandemonium and you're landing on the actual planet, you can see from the sky the hub beneath you as this large, sprawling city with circular walls. And you can see it actually on your map right here. The farmlands are really. The farmlands and the noble estates of the entire west side is really the only green, while on the right there's the slums and the industrial sector that are disgustingly smoggy and very, very packed. Almost disgustingly so. So, you've heard rumors as well about the Decados are having a little bit of trouble ruling this planet. And so there has been a temporary peace where this order of Mantis Knights have been sent to keep order. And while they are not really effective, the nobles are willing to turn their backs on the situation in the slums and say, yes, everything's working out fine. So, our story begins actually down in the bazaar, which, if you look on your map, is the circular area surrounding the spaceport. You guys are wandering around the bazaar kind of as a loose group, and this place is packed. It's a living, breathing conglomerate of just flesh. On the sides of the roads, there are all sorts of stalls set up so that people are setting up to sell their wares. Although this is a seller's market, and you can hear and see people shouting and getting into fights, outbidding each other at every turn. So as much as it is a wonderful place with high technology, it is also very dangerous for the buyer if you should, well, piss someone off. So to start here, are you guys interested looking around the bazaar in anything?
Yes.
What are you looking for, Devona?
Tech in general.
Just anything technology related. All right. So
Something more towards the second Republic, but yeah, just tech in general.
okay. So wandering through the crowd, as I'm assuming, are the three of you wandering around on your own? Jin, John, and Martine. Are you guys wandering around, or are you following Devona kind of wherever she goes?
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
kind of just
follow.
walking along, keeping my eyes forward, not really paying attention to anything, but I'm following her.
Okay.
Silently, of course.
I
Um,
expect I'm probably keeping my eyes open for a place I can get a drink.
Okay.
I'm assuming that people are kind of backing away from me because I got my own thing going on. So
Well, they're backing away from you guys as a group in general because you also have a literal cyborg walking around in front of you.
yeah,
But
I guess that
actually,
applies too.
sorry, you were saying? Okay.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Okay. But however, Devona, you're actually noticing that on this planet, you felt more at home than anywhere else because of how much technology there is. People are actually treating you being a cyborg. No one's giving you those weird looks that you are so used to. So as you guys are wandering around the streets, Devona, your eyes fall on a dark navy tapestry hanging above the stall that kind of leads backward into a building that says Gentleman Jaluzin's High Technology Quality Tech. Are you interested in going in?
I am very much interested in going in.
Okay. So, the very second that you walk into the store, which you can see, I mean, you actually recognize Jaluzin's name as a member of the Engineers Guild. And if you look around the shop, just kind of a quick glance, there are actually quite a few, I mean, magic lantern projectors, think machine censorship chips, all kinds of fine technology that you are definitely interested in, but it's not anything magnificent all around. And the prices seem very fair. And the minute he notices you, Gentleman Jaluzin walks forward to greet you and says, "Hello. For you, if you were seeking high quality, high technology items, there are a few better shops than mine. What can I help you with?"
I was just looking around trying to find some advanced technologies for the guild and for personal gain.
Okay, is there anything I can help you find? Is that a no?
No, not really.
Okay. So if you just want to peruse, then if you look at the player's guide under technology, pretty much anything TL5 or 6 you can find here.
Okay.
So if you want to browse that. While you're doing that, the rest of you, are you interested in do you guys want to peruse this shop as well? Then you can do the same thing.
I'm probably gonna pull the shopkeeper aside and ask what I'll offer for the cyborg.
What do you this? He kind of looks flustered, really confused as to what you mean, and then looks over at Devona, who's just kind of very closely examining the shelves, and kind of stutters out like, "What? I don't. What do you mean?" And it's very clear that you've caught him off guard. Like this is weird to him.
And then
Nah,
I'm
just don't worry about it.
near the doorway. I take like one look around, like one slow glance, and then I just kind of track Martin or whoever the slaver
Martine?
guy is, Martine, as he walks over. So I'm kind of staring at him right now.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on. Sorry, what's your character's name?
John.
John. Okay. Well, that'll. Yeah, I keep an eye on John. Obviously, the shopkeeper just gave a really weird look, and I kind of walk up behind him, give him a little tap on the shoulder, one of those shaking my head like, not here, sort of looks, but I don't necessarily disapprove. So,
I'm totally just muted there. I'm so sorry. But so after that interaction, the shopkeeper, I mean, who was so gracious when you guys first came in, seems just caught off guard, especially at this assortment of people. But is there, for the rest of you, feel free to peruse the shop, or if you want to leave and look around for another shop, if you're interested, you can do that too. Devona, is there anything that's caught your eye?
There's probably a mapper.
A map of Pandemonium?
Well, no, there's a think machine, Tier 5, called Mapper. It's basically a GPS system.
Oh, yes, you could find that.
Which person's the noble again? I forgot.
Martine.
Martine. Okay.
De
So I'm his
Veracruz.
escort, so I'm just kind of watching him, or I'm
Okay.
just standing there, like just in the middle of the floor, just looking around,
Mhm.
glancing from side to side.
Okay.
Real
I think the
ominous,
reason,
like.
yeah, I think the reason my character would be interested in that because she might hope that it might have some data in there about the planets, and a chance that it might have past history knowledge in the ruins.
Okay. So do you want to buy one?
A bit out of my price range right now.
Okay.
You know, we could make a racket of this actually. Go from like tech bazaar to tech bazaar, sell the cyborg, and then rescue her a couple of days later.
Could probably work that out, yeah.
Good idea.
We'd get us such a bad reputation so fast.
It's true. Devon, if there...
Not to mention ticking off your escort.
Well, yeah. Devona, if there's nothing you're particularly interested in, you can leave the shop.
Yeah, I'm leaving the shop.
All right. So, as you guys wander out of the shop, it kind of things seem a little bit strange. Like they're a little bit tenser before. While before people were, shouting prices and things like that, it seems a little bit more restless. What do you guys want to do?
I'm just following Martine.
I'm gonna kind of keep my guard up and make sure that I can pull out my knives pretty quick if I need to.
I'm
Okay.
gonna make an observe check because all of a sudden the place has just gone quiet and she does not feel easy about this.
Okay. So that would be a perception plus wits check. So what's that goal number?
Since I'm looking around with my eyes, I'm also getting my keen eyes, so that's an extra +2.
Nice. Okay, I see here your perception is 6, and your observe, right here, 8. Ooh, wow. So that's 16 right there. All right, go ahead. Roll your d20.
Gosh.
Ooh, okay. That's 2 VP, which I think is counted as a mediocre success. So, you don't
Mediocre.
yeah. So, Devona kind of looks around and listens really closely, and there's nothing immediately off that you can pick up on a reason for it. Like obviously, all of you are very aware that there's something weird going on. People are moving around a little more tensely, and all of them kind of seem to be anticipating something. And Devona, you actually pick up a few words in passing conversation. You hear the word Everlight. And you hear whatever it is. You can't quite make out what it is, but you hear someone say that Everlight just is bigger. And that's all that you can pick up.
Can I make my own observe check?
Yeah, go ahead. So you have... I'm going to pull up all your character sheets. Hold on. So you've got a perception of 6 and an observe of 3. So that's a 9.
Wait, is perception and what else?
Observe.
Oh, observe is a skill. Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. So can you do me a favor and roll a
I
d20?
noticed nothing.
Can you roll a d20 again?
Oh man, your eyes might just explode.
Hang on, let me get my d20 here. Ooh, I got an 8.
Was your goal number 9?
Yes.
Nice. So that's 4 VP. That's a lot better. Okay. Oh my god! Okay, so, wow, critical success, critical failure right off the bat. Wait. No, okay, John, you did that wrong. It's /R D20, not just 20. You literally just wrote in roll a 20. Okay, try that again. unless you don't want to feel like observing anymore.
Yeah, hang on a second.
All right. So
You
for
might want to
Jin,
re-roll because you'd probably end up like tripping on something and falling into a pile of dung.
yeah. So Jin, you look around and you kind of pick up what you pick up is more audio, if you will. You get a more detailed description of what's going on with this Everlight thing. You hear the words. I've always heard that its orbit was stable, but I don't know about now. And you also hear something similar that Everlight is bigger. Similarly, on a different conversation, a different set of people passing, you actually pick up the word race, but you don't know what it means. Anyone else have anything they want to do? John, what was your goal number?
Oh, it was like 9 or 10, something like that.
So you just failed. All right, cool. So you don't know.
Yeah,
what to
no, I just failed.
All right. If you guys have no other, are you guys have any other actions as of right now?
I think I'm gonna turn to the party and be like, "What is Everlight?"
Can I roll some kind of like some kind of lore to see if I have ever heard of this?
What lore skills do you have?
Pretty much
have-
like faction, Phoenix, and home planet.
This isn't your home planet, right? Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
No, it's not my home planet.
Okay. You could roll that. It would be, I think it would be wits, but you wouldn't get to add a skill to it. So it would be a pretty hard roll. So I guess you just roll your wits and see what you can do. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Man.
Okay, roll another d20. Okay, thank God. So you just failed. Okay, so
That's good. I was afraid I was gonna get like an aneurysm or something.
yeah, I had something fun planned for you. Don't worry if you have that nice critical failure. So John takes a moment to stroke his chin, and at this moment, things get a little more restless. Where before it was kind of quiet, and not quiet. I mean, obviously it wasn't like dead silence, but it was pretty quiet, and you guys could hear, like, kind of nervous conversation. People walking around seem to have a little bit more hurry to their step, and then some have actually stopped completely and are looking up the street. But if you guys look that way, you can't see anything. And
I guess my hand would kind of edge toward my weapon, and I just kind of look around just to make sure we're not going to get ambushed.
Okay. At this point, also, Devona, as you're standing there in the street, a kind of medium-sized, beefy man bumps into you and apologizes and kind of looks with anticipation as he, like, as soon as he apologizes to you, he kind of looks with anticipation up the road and then back at you, almost as if he's expecting some sort of response.
I guess I will look over at the road and then back at him. That's like.
And not say anything?
She doesn't know what to say. She's not good with people.
Okay.
She's like.
So he just kind of looks at you strangely and then moves on. At this point...
Wait. Before he does that, she goes, "What is Everlight?"
Oh, okay. So he looks back at you, and he looks kind of confused, and then he says, "Oh, off-worlders?
Yes.
Everlight's our moon. Well, we have 3 of them: Floxum, Flaxum, and then Everlight. Yeah.
Creative names.
Oh, I know. Actually, I didn't come up with them. Devona, response? No?
I said, "Why is everyone so quiet with this with your moon?"
Well, people aren't quiet because of the moon. I don't know what's going on there, but I have heard some strange rumors. People are so restless just because of the race.
What race?
Okay, so at this point, suddenly you hear a roar of sound and some strange hooting from like a few blocks away from you. And people around you, like I'm gonna say roughly 90% of the people around you, dash to the sides of the road by the like where the stalls are. And those of you, including the man you were just talking to, and at this point, like I'm gonna say there are you guys and then maybe a few other people who are still standing in the road, but suddenly this roaring and hooting, it starts to get a lot closer, and over kind of like a bend in the road comes a herd of animals. They're these huge two-legged furry lizards, and they're running roughly like the speed, like 60 miles per hour, so like a speeding car. And basically all of these animals that are running down the road have riders on their backs, and behind them are these giant alcohol powered motor cars, and they're coming down zooming after these animals, chasing them. And so at this moment, actually, there's a Mirka, that's what they're called, zooming down the road that is about to barrel right through your group. What do you guys do?
Jump out of the way.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, leap out of the way and pull my weapon out.
Fair enough. Okay, so you guys all kind of on your guard, hop out of the way, and these Mirka, and obviously the cars behind them, charge down the street. And the people riding them, you suddenly notice, are actually nobles. They have kind of fancy clothing on, not like the scrappy and dusted up clothes that you see a lot of the people here in the bazaar wearing. Any of the stalls and pedestrians that were still in the street are just knocked aside as they're racing by. There is no rules here, clearly. The entire unsightly gaggle roars off down the road and they vanish. And then a moment later, they turn around and are coming back the other way. You see them come back around the bend. At this point, around half of the Mirkas don't have riders. What do you guys want to do? Are any of you interested in hitching a ride?
Well, I mean, I just saw a bunch of people get ridden down. So yeah, I'm gonna try and reach out for one of them. Or first, I'm gonna kind of bang my staff on the ground. Then I'm gonna reach out for one of the riderless ones and try and jump on.
Okay, that's going to be a Dex plus Vigor check at a -4 penalty.
Let's see. My dexterity is 8, and my vigor is 7. So I need to hit an 11.
Yeah.
Come
Have
on,
at it.
D20, don't fail me now.
Ooh.
Okay, 5.
All right.
Not too bad.
Not bad at all. Okay, so Jin reaches out and grabs onto like the mane of this Mirka and just is whipped away. Because keep in mind, you just jumped onto a speeding car, basically.
Okay, I want to do the same thing.
Really? Okay.
I-
So that's gonna be the same
This is
check.
gonna be funny if he lands in the street. This is gonna be funny.
It's gonna be Dex and Vigor.
Yeah, I got 8 and
Minus 4.
a 7 too.
All right, so it's 11.
11, yeah. So, 1d20 or d20?
Just D20. Ooh, nice.
Slightly
Alright.
better than me.
Slightly better. Okay, so
Yeah, I'll try to jump on one. Why not?
Whew! The group is
Everybody's
just
trying
going crazy.
to jump on these things.
Hey.
Everybody's following me.
2 for 2 so far.
Ooh, what was your goal
Uh,
number, John?
I didn't make that. That was supposed to be a 10.
Ooh, that's rough. Okay,
So he falls on his face in the dirt.
so here, wait. Devon, are you at all interested in this, or are you?
She seems puzzled by the strange people jumping onto vehicles.
Okay, so
I walk up to John and be like, "Are you trying to hijack that thing?"
okay, so what happens as a result of our rules? Jin reaches out, grabs onto the mane, and kind of swings onto this thing, and you actually get a nice shake, Jin, but you manage to hold on. And Martine, when you reach out and try and jump on, you as well but you with a little more success. Whereas where Martine had this shake, you kind of hold on, and the two of you race off in front of these motor vehicles. But right as you guys are pulling away, and also, I'm sorry, John, when you try to jump on, you kind of, how heavy are you, John?
Let me double check that.
Okay.
About 190 pounds.
Okay. Jin and Martine, do you guys weigh less than that?
Yeah, I weigh 120 and I'm 6 feet tall.
Ooh, skinny.
I weigh more than 220.
All right, so
Strong.
Martine got lucky, especially courageous Mirka. But when you jumped on, John, the weight was too much for that Mirka, and it crumpled under your weight and rolled around on top of you. At this time, disaster strikes. Devona and John are kind of in that spot where you guys were standing, but Jin and Martine have kind of raced off down the road. But right around now, the Mirka that Jin was on is actually panicked, and it kind of stampedes into the Mirka next to it, which then is knocked down onto the ground and suddenly is struck by one of the cars that was the steel-framed car that were chasing you. The car smashes into it, and the beast and the car and the riders all end up in a bloody heap right around you. Your Mirka also panics at this time, Jin. I'm sorry, Martine. And kind of stops dead in its tracks, kind of like a deer in headlights. So all of you are kind of surrounding this bloody heap of, there's the wreckage of the car, the Mirka's bloody remains, and you see the two racers. The one from the car is completely unconscious. However, the other one, the Mirka rider, it seems as though his leg is broken. And while he screamed out in pain when he fell, he looks directly up at you, Devona, and with these pleading eyes, and asks, help me, get me out of here. For God's sake, I need to get out of here. And at John, right now, as you notice, because of this tragedy, I guess you could say, the crowd has kind of thickened back out into the road a little bit, and you see a bunch of, Mantis Guard making their way through the crowd, pushing their way through the crowd, and your basic reason tells you this was highly illegal.
Yeah, can I sort of blend into the crowd somehow real quick?
Sure, that would be sneak and dexterity check.
How many guards are there?
I think it's I'm gonna say it's 10 to 15.
Could I have leaped off animal when it started to panic?
Sure.
Like I jump on it, panics, and I realize, oh my gosh, it's a bad idea, so I leap off of it.
Sure. Maybe the leaping off of it is why it panicked and kind of knocked itself into one of the other Mirkas.
Well, no, it started panicking. That's when I jumped off.
Yeah. So when you jumped. Oh,
dying.
Okay. So when you jumped off is when it knocked into another one.
Yeah, just at that moment, sort of.
John, what was your target there?
14.
Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, you disappear into the crowd rather quickly, although Devona still has an idea where you are. And everyone kind of does, except for the guard, obviously, because they're not even here yet.
Right, I'm keeping an eye on the situation anyways.
Okay. Jin, you hop off. So, as I was saying, Devona, this man whose leg is shattered underneath the Mirka, which obviously has broken it, he is begging for your help. What do you do?
Do I notice the guards coming in?
Yes.
I kind of shake my head and it's like, I can't.
What do you, do you just stand there staring at him?
No, I would probably end up just walking into the crowd, the people.
Okay, so following John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I
So-
am I close to that situation? Can I see
Yes.
what's going on there?
Yes, you can see it.
So I'm gonna jump off,
Okay, and what do you want to do?
go over to the injured person.
And do what?
I'm gonna treat his wound. Obviously I see what the wound is. It's pretty obvious. He's got a shattered leg or something.
Yeah, shattered leg.
Yeah, I think I can use my physic
Sure.
skill.
Do you have a med pack? That would really help you out here. I don't know if you can use the physics skill by itself.
No, I do not have a.
Okay, hold on. Let me just check the physics skill to see if you can actually just directly use that.
Yeah, sure. Otherwise, I'll just put like a sheet over his leg so nobody has to see.
Okay. One sec. Hold on. Physic. Okay. So sometimes just a few minutes of an accident are the most crucial. First aid deals with immediate responses. Many soldiers may take this to stabilize their comrades during firefights. Yeah, you can use wits plus physic.
That's 6.
Ooh, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah, no chance it's gonna work. But that's good.
You're gonna probably critically fail and just break his leg.
Okay.
Well,
As you so you start tending to this guy's wound and you're botching it. He's screaming out in pain as you're like pulling shattered pieces of bone from inside his leg. But as you're doing this, he's also kind of screaming through. I mean, he's kind of shouting through the screams, I guess. What are you doing? What are you doing? We need to get out of here right now. The guard's gonna get us.
okay, is it my turn to take an action?
You can do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want. What do you want?
All right, so I see the guards approaching, right?
Uh-huh.
So I jumped off and I landed kind of in a 3-point stance, both feet and one arm, and the other hand has my weapon and it's kind of holding it out behind me. So, the
Uh-huh.
classic hero landing stance.
Classic.
So I look up and I see the guards approaching, and they look pretty ticked, I assume.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
they're very
I just
clearly.
stand up, and then I hold my weapon like horizontally out in front of me, so like it's kind of crossed, so sideways.
Okay.
And then I take my brother battle medallion and I pull it out of my pocket and I show it to them as they approach me. So I'm kind of like telling them, "Hey, I'm brother battle. Don't mess with me, or be very careful how you mess with me."
Okay, so I'm gonna say that you managed to jump off before they noticed that you were actually riding a Mirka because of the density of the crowd. So they actually don't pay you any mind. Having said that, when you get to, they kind of walk right past you and towards Martine and the injured rider. When they get over there, while Martine is still pulling out shattered pieces of bone, they grab him by the arm, Martine. They one of them kind of walks over to you and picks you up by the arm rather roughly and shoves you back into the crowd and tells you to get lost, while they pick up the injured rider rather forcefully, and it's clear that his leg is in immense pain, but they have no regard for it.
Did
So I take it he didn't even notice the big weapon that I was holding, or the medallion in my hand.
They weren't paying attention to you because they didn't notice you were riding the Mirka. Their only concern right now is arresting the Mirka riders or anyone concerned in the race.
did the guards get a good look at me at all before I slipped into the crowd?
No. They
All
weren't
right.
here until just now.
All right, I'm gonna roll up, and I don't know if I have some sort of official muster guild ID I can flash, but
Do you have rank?
I do actually.
What rank are you?
I'm a sergeant.
Is
It's
that
the second. It's the second rank.
That's a pretty sweet rank. All right, so you want to roll up and say like, back off, I'm a muster.
I want to roll up and be like, "Hey, this is the guy I've been looking for. Thanks for catching him for me."
You're saying this about Martine?
Yes, he's a disgraced noble from Veracruz, and I've been tracking him across 3 systems now.
Okay, so the Decados guard or the Mantis guard that you just addressed looks you up and down and looks at your ID almost as if he's expecting it to be a fake, and then looks over at Martine. Roll for is there a lying skill? Hold on a second.
Can I like walk up behind him and flash my medallion again, kind of to give emphasis to what he's saying?
Sure.
Because Martine is the person I'm trying to escort. So now my
Sure.
character's peeved because he was ignored. So now he comes up kind of behind John, with his weapon still out, medallion in his hand,
Right.
and shows it forward like, pay attention to this now.
Okay.
Although he obviously can't say anything.
Okay, so you can roll, John. Roll influence or knavery. Your choice, because this is kind of unbelievable because you don't currently have your hands and whip around Martine's neck, and also because a brother battle just backed you up, which is really suspicious. So that's a -2 right there. Roll that.
Just straight influence.
Influence plus I think it would be presence. Let me check that. Hold on. It's a social skill. 1 second. Social influence. Are you trying to kind of trying to intimidate, or are you trying to like charm? Which is
No. I'm rolling up in there like if they give me any guff, I'll be like, "What's your name, soldier? Who's your commanding officer?"
Ooh,
He'll
okay.
hear about this.
Okay, so presence plus influence then. -2.
Presence plus influence. I gotta find these again. Sorry, I'm holding up the game here.
So wait, me backing him up is suspicious?
Yes, because brother battle and muster working together is weird. Imagine a clergyman backing up a slaver.
Yeah. Well, I'm.
Well,
They
it'd be
really
nice
threw
to
me
have
in the
known that
crowd.
before I did it, but okay.
Well, even though I'm thrown in
Plus,
the crowd,
well, they're dragging off the guy I'm escorting, so
That's
I
fair.
kind of not
I
good.
missed it by a couple there.
Well, they didn't drag me off, right? They just pushed me into the crowd.
They pushed you, yeah.
Yeah. So
They kind of
I get
pushed
back.
you.
I'm not easy to
Sorry,
push. No, I mean I get right back up. I mean I'm a real battle hardened soldier badass, so I get right
Right.
back up. And but you know since John stepped in and so did what's your name?
Jin.
Jin. Thank you, bud. Jin stepped in. I'm just standing behind them,
Okay.
letting them do their thing.
So okay, so the Decados guard looks at you, John, and says, "Yeah, I'm having a hard time believing that, Muster. Not that we have much concern for you here, though." And looks over at Martine and kind of looks back at you and says, "We'll think about maybe not jailing your friend for longer than a day." And grabs Martine, and along with this injured rider, they start walking off.
Wait, can I tell what he's a guard? Does he have a rank insignia?
He's just a knight.
I mean, I'm not really sure what that means.
Okay, so he's a knight of the Mantis Guard, Decados. It's kind of just like the lowest rank, where it's like he is a noble, but he kind of sucks. It's kind of
Gotcha.
like he was the second son and wanted some sort of action, so he joined the Mantis Guard.
All right, so I'm going to, as he starts to turn away, I will move to stand in front of him, and in my best sergeant-y voice, I'll say, "Look, you're a knight, I'm a sergeant, and if you don't let go of my prisoner right now, I will thump you around the air."
And I will kind of follow them, and whoever's grabbing onto Martine, I'll kind of just throw my staff out in front of him, kind of like an arm, so kind of blocking his way.
Okay, so the two of you now, this is going to act in your benefit that you're working together, just because it's more about I'm gonna beat the shit out of you situation. So then in this case, John, roll the same thing again, but with a +1. What's that? What was your target there? John.
Yeah, it was like a 13.
Ooh, rough. Okay.
Wait, if he got if it was a 13 and it was a +1, wouldn't he passed?
No, it was 13 with the +1.
Oh.
Do I have to roll anything for, basically sticking a blade in front of this guy?
No, it was just you acted as his benefit by kind of backing him up.
Well, my next course of action, how many guards are there here?
In your immediate vicinity, 5 or 6.
We can take him.
Do they look well armed?
They have swords.
Yeah, we could take them.
Okay.
Are you
I mean, I have a
gonna
combat
get this?
melee of 5 and a melee of 7, so
All right,
plus a
so
strength, dexterity, and endurance of 8.
when you say that to him, John, he looks at you indignantly and says, "Yeah, and you're of the Scum Mustard Guild. I'm a noble. Get out of my way. I have a prisoner." And he shoves you as hard as he can, which is not very hard for you. But it's like clear that he was giving it all of his might.
All right, at this point, I'm going to use my Iron Heel combat maneuver thing and like just basically where he reaches to shove me, I'm gonna try and like break his arm.
Ooh, getting right into it.
Oh,
Iron Heel, you said?
Yes,
Hold on.
which gives me like a +2 grappling, what have you.
Where are you? Are you using Chain of Destruction? Or are you using Headbutt, Chokehold? I'm assuming you're using Chain of Destruction then?
Yeah, that sounds like the one.
This technique teaches use of painful joint locks and manipulations to lock a foe in place and convince them to submit. This action works just like a grapple basic combat action, but allows the stylist to automatically inflict unarmed damage each round rather than having to re-roll. Is that what you're trying to do?
That sounds exactly like what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so in that case, you're gonna roll you're using like brute strength here.
Yes,
Use your okay. Roll strength plus fight, which is what?
that would be a total of 15.
Cool. Have at it. All right. So you got a 9. That's 4 victory points. All right. So are you trying to you're trying to break his arm basically? You're putting all your effort in right now, right? John.
I was muted. Sorry. I got the push to toggle thing going on. I can't keep track of when it's on or off.
Okay.
All right. I want to get him in a lock so that I can break his arm
But like not necessarily do it yet.
and tell him, since he seems to be in charge, to have all of his men back off and just basically go home and forget what they've seen here. Or I will snap his arm in as many places I possibly can.
Okay. So you're not directly trying to inflict damage yet.
I think he's trying to like
Damage, no, but pain, absolutely.
Okay, got it. Then yeah, you totally succeeded in doing that. In which case, you have him by the arm, and he suddenly looks at you with fear in his eyes, as if he's been talking a lot of talk, but really doesn't have much to back it up as of right now. He looks at you, looks you up and down, and kind of says, "Okay, let me go." And he tries to like pull away from you. Do you let go?
First aid musters are awesome.
He looks at you and says, "Fine, musters are awesome."
Now say Ducatos are pieces of shit.
He looks at you and like as if the words pain him to be coming from his mouth, he says, "Ducatos are pieces of shit."
Now go back and grow a pair.
Alright, so you let him go?
Yeah, kind of forcefully, I'll kind of shove him away.
Alright, so at this moment, he lets go of Martine. That's done. Martine is free as a bird. He stumbles back and falls onto his butt. And he looks like a frightened child at this point. Before, he looked kind of was having this authority, but now he looks like a frightened child. He gets up, and then he looks at you frightenedly, John, and then looks as if he's about to go to like spit at your feet, but then just
Run
runs
away, little man.
At this point, I like spin my staff in one hand, and then I kind of put it on my back in the sheath.
Okay.
I do
So,
that.
Anyway, the rest of the guards that were kind of around have taken away various racers, but have left Martine alone because he wasn't directly involved in the race, as far as they know. However, one of them actually you do notice takes a good look at all of you, Devona, John, Jin, and Martine. Looks you all up and down before he leaves.
I'll flash him a smile.
Okay, so
How about I walk up to John and I kind of stare at him like I'm expecting something, like expecting a thank you. I'm just gonna walk up and stare at him.
Well, you want to be next?
ooh,
I just keep staring at him.
okay, so anyway, at this
Like,
point,
aren't you going to thank me for helping you? Except I don't say that, obviously, because I can't talk, but...
so at this
Martine owes me one now, though.
Oh, I do? I say? I say thank you for doing your job. I could have handled myself, but I much appreciate you stepping in.
You know what? I'm actually kind of speechless at that, so John will also be speechless and just stare at him like he can't believe what he's just heard.
I just... it
I
wouldn't,
just
you
kept
know,
from hauling your rear end off to jail, and that's all you say?
well, if we're gonna... Okay, so...
You have any idea what
Basically-
happens in Ducato's prisons, man?
Well, no, basically what the plan was that, you know, I didn't reveal that I was a noble myself. And I'm glad I didn't have to, so much appreciate you guys stepping in so that we kept our cover. But, yeah, I almost did reveal being a noble, just so that we didn't get in a major fight with the local nobility here, so that we're at least on decent terms still, even though they might recognize us now around the city.
So, as you guys are having this conversation, the sun is starting to set, and there's tension building now. And some half overheard conversations that you're hearing are hinting at some problems outside the walls. You're hearing some things about these hovels, that there are fights breaking out and over weird things. And there's rumors of massive prayer meetings and suicides and a lot of looting. More so than usual, because that's pretty commonplace here. But there's a lot of word about it in the bazaar as you guys are continuing to walk around.
I look at him, and I point in the direction of this disturbance. Like telling them we should go.
There's no disturbances. You just hear these in like half overheard conversations. You don't directly see any of it yet.
Oh,
So-
well, like,
Sorry,
I
go
guess
ahead.
in the direction of the place where they're saying that it happens. Or is it just a general thing that's happening everywhere?
I mean, you're hearing about the problems outside the walls, but you're also hearing about like the prayer meetings and suicides and the looting. That's happening everywhere. That's kind of happening everywhere.
You know, what's Devona been doing through all this, by the way?
Just watching.
I'm gonna go up to her and be like, "You all right there, Tin Man?"
She nods and it's like, yeah, I don't know why the noble guy wanted to pick a fight, or wanted to, she doesn't know how to say it, but she's trying to hint at, why in the world were you guys fighting with the guards? So she's kind of just rambles on about guards fighting and you guys spending the rest of your life in jail and stuff.
I don't say anything. I just look around, kind of in general directions. Like I'm not really paying attention.
Okay.
Well, before we do anything else, I think I need a drink, fellas.
Sounds good. We should also find out some more information about what's going on outside the city, all the stuff that we've been hearing about. But we should
You know who likes to talk?
invest.
People who are drinking.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys basically going to go in search of a bar?
Yeah, I don't know how long we've been on this planet, but I might be starting to get the shakes by now. I don't know.
Few hours.
It's probably time to top off then.
Okay, so you have some options. Do you want to go for an inn or just a straight up bar?
I mean, I'd prefer just a regular bar. Like the seedier, the better. The more
Yeah.
likely we are to get stabbed, the better.
Got it.
Agreed.
Okay, so you're not going to find that kind of thing in. If you look at your map over here, the Northwest is all beautiful mansions and whatnot. Nothing to be found there. Farmlands and all that, nothing. The industrial sector, perhaps, but you're most likely to find what you're looking for in the slums. Kind of on the edges of it, though.
Like
Perfect.
the big brothel. Oh wait, no. The public house.
The public house is not a bar. But there, I'm just saying in that general area, you're likely to find some bars.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's exactly where we want to go.
All right, so
I just follow him.
as you guys are making your way through the bazaar and kind of make it to the slums, you take a good look at this huddled mess that you saw from space. It's squatting south of the East Lane, and it's close-packed, multi-level buildings, and they're all crammed with poor refugees from all over the world. Word is that these people basically lived on different parts of the planet, but there have been some strange events, cataclysmic terraforming accidents, that they've fled and come here, which has kind of led to the idea that this is the only center of civilization left on this world. It's a sanitation nightmare. The slums are the only places in the city where the outsiders are allowed to squat. So living anywhere else is going to require rent money, and the refugees don't have it. Here, pretty much everyone's homeless, but it's better than a lot of the wretches that are living outside of the walls. It's around here you start to see more of the church presence, doing what they're needed to do, which is, helping people. I don't know how many of you have read into the actual sects of the church, but the Amalthians, their sect of the church is very much based on helping people in a very real way. So that's kind of the healing class. But in lore, they're kind of universally loved. Where other members of the church are feared, Amalthians are welcomed with open doors and allowed to come in. They can find a home wherever they need it. There is a mission here, and as you wander the streets, you can see them helping starving peasants and wounded thieves. They're dressed very conservatively, but in a very not uniform, but they look very holy, I guess you could say. And they seem like the only genuinely nice people around here. As you guys wander the streets, you start to come to basically a den of shouting. But the words above the doorway do suggest that it does serve alcohol, and I'm assuming that's where you'd like to be, John.
That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so you guys go into the bar, and once you're in
Well,
there,
actually, since I'm a monk, I don't go inside.
what are you gonna do?
I like put one fist into the palm, like the fighting gesture, and then I like cup where my mouth would be if I wasn't wearing a mask, and then I point to myself and I stand by the door. So I'm basically saying, if there's a fight, call me, and then I wait by the door.
That wasn't the you'd like a beer.
That's a good idea.
Universal
You
sign?
watch the door.
The other three of you make your way into the bar, and getting in there, it is just the kind of place that John was looking for. Truly, the seedier the better. There is a 95% chance at any time that you are about to be stabbed. There's screaming, bar fights going on almost a constant basis, but the place is large enough that it's not affecting everyone everywhere. The bar itself is dirty, disgusting. The glasses look like they haven't been cleaned in eons. And walking up to the bar, behind the bar, there is a slightly off-putting looking man who seems tired is the best word for it.
All right, so out of character question here, like
Yes.
a firebird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how much is that really?
My understanding is it's kind of like $10 to $20. If you're asking how much a drink is, I can find that for you very quickly. Hold on a second.
No, I just kind of I didn't really understand the economy. Like,
just as a whole.
yeah, like with
Um,
D&D, you got gold pieces and silver pieces. You kind of put it together. But as far as I know, there's just the one currency here. So
There are talons as well. They're a subdivision of firebirds. Hold on, I'll pull up a like a Wikia page.
How do you, while you're doing that, how do you change our picture in uh, at the bottom of the screen?
Oh, you gotta go open up Roll20 and go into your outside of the game.
Gotcha.
So it's in your menu or your
Our
options.
our profile, yeah, gotcha. It's kind of annoying.
Okay, so one firebird is worth roughly $10.
gotcha.
Um, and then it's broken into halves and quarters, where a wing is a quarter and a half is a crest. So basically, a firebird is $10, a crest is 5, and a wing is 1.
Okay, I gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So in character, after all that description, what would you guys like to do?
I would like Martine to buy me a drink for saving his ass.
I was gonna offer you a drink for saving my ass earlier, without exposing our situation.
Great minds think alike.
Worthy of a quality drink. What would you like, my fine friend?
Tequila, neat, no training wheels.
Absolutely, make that too. Where is did Devona come with us?
Probably inside the engineer quarters and the industrial sector.
Oh,
Are you separate? You left them?
My character doesn't drink, and she has no interest in a bar.
But you would have left your friends to just go to an entirely different section of the city?
I guess I would tag around just to keep an eye on things and look around.
Okay. I'm just saying, your character, maybe not the best with common sense, I'm not sure, but chances are if you're alone and not in the noble sector, you're going to get shanked.
That's a
Even in
dangerous place.
the industrial place?
The industrial sector is still pretty dangerous, especially with Muster wandering around. They have a pretty big presence here. And besides John, you don't really have many friends in the Muster because they don't really like engineers.
Oh.
Yeah, I implore you, Devona, to stick with us since we need you.
Yeah, the Musters have a active hiring hall in this city, so
I didn't want to be
that,
sold
that
off.
I'm pretty sure that's code for slave trader.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If it's in quotes, I think it's in quotes. Does it say hire, quote unquote, hiring hall or something like that?
Yeah, but knowing what I know about the Muster Guild, then any hiring they do is going to be that kind of hiring for the
Very
most
much
part.
a slaving place. Okay, so yeah, bad idea.
Alright, so
Anyways.
yeah, I'm just sticking with them for protection, mostly.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to knock my drink back and look at the bartender and say, "So have you heard anything interesting going on?"
The bartender looks at you, looks you up and down, and seems a little bit afraid of you, kind of like everyone. And he says to you, "Look, I guess you're some kind of fancy off-world type, but that's not how things work around here.
I might be
Pleasant
a
conversation.
fancy, I might be a fancy off-world type, but I'm also bringing my fancy money.
Fine, fine, but your funny money don't mean as much as it does in Byzantium Secundus around here, all right? Well, you're lucky I took your cash at all. But anyway, pleasant conversation isn't something we enjoy very often around here. But I can tell you there's some shit fucked up. People are dying. There's something going on. There's suicides and looting. I'm just glad no one's come to steal my booze yet.
Any idea what the cause behind it all is?
Hold on a second. I'm just scrolling something. There we go. No, well, There's something's going on with Everlight. I don't really know. Some kind of disaster impending. I don't even know. But what I can tell you is that there's a lot of unsavory types coming through, and more than usual, I would have to say.
I'm gonna give him like 3 Firebirds and just tell him to keep his ears open for me.
Okay. Are you trying to gain him as a contact?
Not really, just like a temporary contact, maybe.
Okay. At this point, when you guys are sitting at the bar tossing them back, and the sun is setting outside, it's really becoming dark. This tiny, miserable little girl approaches you guys and tugs on your arm, John. And she looks at you with these like empty eyes, and she holds in her hand a piece of paper.
All right. Is she holding the paper out to me?
Yeah, she's offering it to you.
All right, I'll take the paper
Okay.
and have a look at it.
So this,
does she stay there?
yeah, she's just standing there staring at you.
Okay.
So
I'll tell her get the fuck out of here before I cut you.
Oh, I tell her to hold on and stay here for a minute. See what the note says.
So this dirty, emaciated, miserable little girl passes you this piece of paper, and it is a beautifully made, like it's decorated piece of paper. And when you open it, in perfectly fine script, it says, "Your presence is requested at Serena Decados's summer residence this evening."
All right, I'll ask the bartender if he knows who Serena Decados is.
Okay. The girl, just to give you an idea about that, the girl continues to stare at you, just kind of empty, expecting something, I guess you could say. Let me just pull this over here. So you ask him, do you know who Serena is? Yeah?
Well, wait, if the little girl just standing there staring at me after I told her to get out of here, I will, I'll pull out a knife. I'll be like, now get out of here.
Well, Martine did tell her to stay.
You know what? As he pulls out a knife and her eyes get big, I'm sure, I give her a Firebird, and I ask her before she leaves if she likes tequila.
She says, she looks at you gratefully for this thing that looks nice, but she probably doesn't know what it is, and says, "Tequila?"
I give a good laugh and I turn back to the bar and I throw my thumb over my shoulder to tell her to get out of here.
Okay, so at this time she just scrambles away. But John, you wanted to ask the bartender about
Yeah, I'll ask the bartender if he knows who Serena or Selena Decados is.
Oh, here, I'll send her name in the chat here. Where's my mouse? Ah, there we go. So specifically, the thing said, Baroness Serena Vincenza Decados. So anyway, you ask him about this Serena Decados, and he looks at you with his face wrinkles up, and he spits on the bar, and he says, "One of the least favored people I've ever heard of. She's a noble, Decados, obviously. More often than not, she's out with her shitty entourage here in the shanty towns, and she's watching us barbaric people, obviously, and paying us even, to kill each other. She has some sort of taste for death, I guess, and just fucks with me. But not unattractive, I'll tell you that."
Hey, Martine, what do you think this has to do with the incident from earlier?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the bartender, speaking of which, what was going on with that race earlier? A lot of people, got hurt and tons of damage to the city. Is that something that happens there all the time?
He looks at you again with that same look he gave John when he called him an off-worlder, and he has a deep, hearty chuckle. And he says, "Guess that's your concern. Where are you from?" And he looks you, and he can tell kind of that you're of a higher born, but he chuckles hard and says, "Happens as often as we want it to. It's good, honest fun. I don't care what the fucking Mantis guard says about it."
Yeah, right on, pal. Fuck the Mantis guard.
Martine.
No, I agree. I think he's. I look at John and I nod my head. I order another round of shots, and we give one to the bartender too. We say, yeah, fuck the Manus Guard. What's the deal with them? They were trying to bust my balls earlier, and my men, or my buddies. Sorry, not my men, my buddies.
Running a dangerous line there.
I'll get that correct eventually.
That was a dangerous line you just towed there, but 1 second. So he says, "Well, I'm sure you know the Decados are in charge of this heap of mud, and Count Enos Sharn, man in charge around here, he asked the Decados for a favor because we've had some, chaos around here recently. Not anything out of the ordinary, but I guess he just has a taste for order now and civilization. So he asked the Decados to send some Mantis Knights. They agreed and sent him a few. A man by the name of Heller to create some Mantis Guard shit. And now all these second-born assholes are joining, and now they're all around the hub all the time, and cramping on our style, if you will."
Who is this Heller guy again?
Heller's a Decados. He was sent by them to start the Mantis Knight. I think he's a baron or something.
And you said earlier, Enos Sharn?
Enos Sharn's the man in charge. That
Man in
rhymed.
charge of what?
The entire planet. He's a count.
And he's from House Decados?
He is a Decados, yes.
And Heller's a Decados?
He is as well.
Hmm. What do you think, John?
I think it sounds like I got myself a hot date tonight.
Yeah, well, do we know where, what was her name? Serena Decados. Where she invited us to?
It says on the card that she gave you her address. It's her estate. It's here we go. Look at the map. It's right around there.
And ask the bartender. By the way, ask the bartender what his name is.
After buying him a shot, he's definitely a little more agreeable, and he smiles at you and says, "Aaron."
Oh, hey Aaron. Nice to meet you, buddy. Thanks for the information. Do you know anything about Serena Decados? What's her reputation around town? I know you told her that she's obviously into some bad stuff, but we might go see her. Do you think that it's going to be a dangerous situation for us?
Nah. She has no material power. She just has the money to back it up. She's not going to hurt you. Especially in those parts, hurting anyone like that is not going to be looked upon favorably. I will tell you, though, their drinks there ain't as good as the ones here. And I would say if they offer you one, make sure they drink first.
Friend, I don't expect the drinks anywhere as good as here.
He smiles at you again. You're certainly getting a little friendly with him. As a matter of fact, you know what, John? Make an influence plus presence check. Influence here would be for you. Well, your presence is 5, and your influence is 6, so that's 11. Oh, that's a 1. All right. So he looks at you and smiles wide, but maybe not as wide as you'd like because that's not great. And he says, "Sure thing. You got a place at my bar anytime."
Hey, thanks,
I'll
pal.
be right back. I'm gonna go get something to drink. Actual drink.
So I asked Aaron, what's the situation on this pile of mud slash rock, as you call it, with other houses. Just since we're getting to be buddies here, I'm a second son from House Azat, and want to know if that's a good thing or bad thing on this rock.
He looks at you with a slight scowl, just as a noble, and he says, "Nothing in particular. The houses here are pretty small. There's not much, shall we say, conflict, except there's some good shit going on I like to watch between the Decados and the Al Malik. They do not get along. The Decados have been running the place since the start, and the Al Malik have come in a little recently. They're buddy-buddy with the guilds, who definitely have the most control here. And, I guess standing up for them pissed off the Decados. So, there have been some fights recently.
Okay, take that moment of pause to go use the little knight's room. Be right back.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I hate to break up the party, but I've got about 10 minutes left, tops.
All right. So we can.
I'm sorry, man. My work schedule sucks.
Nah, dude, it's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Did I miss anything important?
So John's got to get going soon to finish up. 'Cause he has to go to bed. But
Yeah, but I'm gonna go out. I'm assuming that Martine and I are gonna leave the bar, and we'll fill in Devona and Jen on what transpired in there.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought we were all there in the bar.
Jin was
I'm not.
outside.
I'm outside.
Oh.
Because monks don't drink.
Okay, I'd be sitting outside with you then.
Trying to make conversation with the guy who doesn't talk.
Not really. She's more just analyzing everything. Probably has her data pad out and just making notes and stuff.
Okay, so for all of you, so we'll finish up our session, and can ask me any questions you have, but mainly, so you guys are gonna get some good experience. Good for a session. I enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was
that was fun.
honestly
pretty
better
good
than I
for
was
a
expecting it to be.
Yeah. I mean, first session's always a little messy, so I was kind of like, wasn't sure I was gonna go, but yeah, it went really well.
If everybody's okay with it, I mean, I'm definitely cool with starting earlier than 6.
That's 7 for us on the East Coast. I think I probably could also. Maybe like an
I
hour
might be
earlier.
able to do 5 or 6, or 6 maybe. But I'm hoping to start a new job here pretty soon, and I don't have my schedule for it yet. So,
Okay.
it may not change for the next, few weeks, but just a kind of heads up. type of
You're
thing.
East
Right.
Coast, Jin?
Yeah.
Okay, so nice.
Yeah, East Coast. My schedule is like I go to work at 6 East Coast. No. Time zones. How do they work, man?
You're an hour behind.
All right, I go to work at 5 o'clock Central.
Okay, so that's 6
So-
o'clock here.
6 o'clock, and then I'm off. I'm home by like 4:30 Eastern most days.
Okay, so we could
No,
probably.
I'm sorry. I take that back. Eastern, I'm home by 5 most days.
Okay, so we could do like half an hour to an hour earlier. Does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it works for me if it works for everybody else. I hate to be the one that calls the game early every time, you know?
Nah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I mean, we had a good session.
Yeah, we
Um,
started late anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't get quite as much playtime because we were working out the character situation.
Do we have to do? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I was thinking. I mean, if we want to, can we do, like, not? It doesn't have to be like once every 2 weeks. Can we sometimes do once every week?
Yeah, I'm down to do another game next Monday.
Yeah,
I'm up for
down
it.
for weekly.
Yeah, I'm good for it.
Cool.
Same here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure about every Monday, but if we want to do like 2 Mondays in a row and then take one off and then 2 more, that's fine by me.
Yeah, that works for me, especially because like as a GM, doing every week, you burn out quick. We didn't really do much this week, but we can kind of keep it as like Monday night's a good night for me, especially. And we can kind of have that as like our designated night. we'll just have the games as often as we feel are necessary. So we can do another one next Monday because we didn't really get to much this session, sadly. But nonetheless,
Liam,
for this,
I want to say
Yeah,
real
what's up?
quick that I don't have much experience with this stuff, but I'd have to say you're doing a really good job.
thank
And,
you.
You are.
Yeah, no, you are
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm really interested to see how this is gonna go. Especially,
Yeah,
you know,
same.
here's a monk about to go to the place of a person who apparently hires people to kill each other for fun.
Yeah, she's kind of fucked up. But so for this session, you guys were pretty successful. So I'm gonna give you all 2 experience. The way that the experience is gonna work is that when I feel that you've done an exemplary job role playing, I'm gonna give you. I mean, every session I give you, depending on how successful you guys were, I give you experience. So I feel that you guys were pretty successful because you managed to escape being jailed, but the guard does not like you. But you did make a friend, so that's good. So I'm gonna kind of give you
Why?
guys.
Why would the guard not like me?
Gee, I wonder why. You nearly
So-
snapped
I'd
the
be
arm in
most
half.
surprised if the noble house we're going to doesn't dislike us instantly.
We'll see. The Decados
Well,
are kind of friendly
was-
on the surface.
It was kind of their knights. The Mantis Knights are Decados, aren't they?
Yeah, but you were
Yeah.
messing with like a lowborn noble knight.
Yeah, but lowborns have highborn fathers, kind of,
My
Yeah.
father's a lawyer and he'll sue.
Yeah, I'm just picturing we're gonna go there and we're gonna bump into that Mantis Knight's like, that's him!
Okay.
So real
Uh,
quick,
Oh yes.
sorry. So since we're sort of still kind of finishing up, I wanted to ask because like we kind of jumped into it without really knowing each other's characters, but obviously I think we all played them relatively well. In the and I only say relatively because I didn't really play mine that well. So I wanted to ask some questions real quick, like while we're hanging out in the bar still. I don't expect much information from Jin, obviously, even though it's pretty obvious exactly how Jin acts. But John, you know, uh, what's a bit of your history? What's your story?
Um, well, I grew up as a slave. I was born as a slave.
Keep in mind, John, you only have to tell him as much as you want, as much as John wants to tell him.
Yeah, this is a bar
Right.
conversation after some tequila. Exactly.
Right. I was born a slave. That's why I have this fancy slave brand on my temple here. And did some
Were you a slave of the Musters?
actually I out of character I didn't really go that far into it. Somebody from one of the merchants guilds owned my family,
Hmm.
but I kind of went above and beyond the call one day, and my master sponsored me into the Muster Guild. Fought a few
Very
wars, seen some shit. Here I am.
So you're a pretty proactive guy in the face of any drama, stuff like that.
You could say that.
Just want to know, just in case we get in another situation again where you decide to start arm locking dudes.
Well, I personally subscribe to the philosophy that if brute force doesn't work, you didn't use enough of it.
That sounds good to me. I just want to let you know that I can handle myself in combat quite thoroughly. I've been around. I grew up in the battles on the Kurgan barbarian frontier, and that's been my whole life so far. So I get it, but I am a reserved combat veteran that doesn't like to get in a tussle if not necessary. So I appreciate your forwardness, your proactive nature.
Like my old drill sergeant used to say, blood makes the grass grow.
Oh, I've heard that too. Very cool.
So, I mean, Jin, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, obviously
I
I'd
can
love to know
tell
more
you,
about
you
Jin,
know, like
but
out of character, like kind of how he is.
that is up to you, Liam. But that'd be cool if we heard a little bit.
That's up to you, Jin. I mean, only as much as your silence can convey, of course.
Well, I mean, he can write, can he?
Oh, true. Never mind.
Does Jin know charades?
I mean, I guess I could say he speaks sign language and can get his point across, but I could just let's say I hand you a card, like out of my pocket, like I've had this situation before. I take out a card and I hand it to you, and written on the card it says, "My name is Jin. I'm with the Brother Battle Warrior Monks, and I don't like people. I don't like bad people." Sorry, I'm trying to come up with this on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I don't talk, except when necessary, and you'll find out what necessary means if we're, you know, if you're with me enough. And then I always protect the weak people. I don't like people who kill for pleasure.
Serena
Basically,
Decados.
yeah, basically, I don't like anyone who breaks the law.
Okay.
Well, if it makes
Oh,
you
and
feel
I'm
any
not
better,
afraid of I'm not afraid of people either.
if it makes you feel any
Like that's
better,
basically conveyed by what's on the card. I mean, just
if it makes you feel any better, Jen, I don't kill for pleasure. I kill for profit.
So with Jin, I'm gonna ask Jin if we can communicate through yes or no questions.
I mean, anything I can answer with a head nod or shake, you can ask me.
Exactly. Is that cool?
I nod.
Perfect. We got this. I speak Jin.
Devona, do you want to share a little bit about your character?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Devona, what happened back there? You were gone for a while during that
Oh,
race.
my Roll20's been acting up. It's like every time I hop on, it's like it will randomly just like, oh, you're disconnected, and then all of a sudden it's like it even crashed the entire viewer. It's like, yeah, he's like, this page is no longer available. It's like, what?
Maybe it's your internet connection.
Maybe, but you guys were all hopping in and out as well a lot in the game.
I don't think I was. I saw you hopping in and out every once in a
On my end, I mean, you can even watch the video. You guys popped in and out a few times.
while. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was messing with settings the first hour. Sadly, like I was trying to get all my stuff straight.
Yeah, so, yeah, Devona will tell that she grew up on a space station. I mean, that is... there's a, the setting is it space stations in this game? Oh,
Space habitat.
Space habitat, okay. Yeah, so she grew up on a space habitat, so she was always around more technology than other things. Her life, she was taught how to repair the station and how to fix things, and she had a natural knack for it, so they put her into... Well, they didn't put her into a engineer guild. She just kind of acquired the skills through, use of constantly repairing the habitat. So, in her earlier life, they were looking for tech experts to go onto military expeditions through ruins and stuff. So she's accustomed to diving ruins. And during her tour on the thing, she did have an incident, which they were kind enough to let her have some cybernetic eyes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like...
sorry, go ahead.
it was like... she was fighting... she was with the group, and they were fighting... I would say... she doesn't know who they were fighting. It was just other mercenaries, so... over the scavenge, which ended up wounding her and getting her eyes. As she was getting ready to enlist for her second tour, she found out her parents were deathly ill, caught a disease, and she needed to go and now take care of her sister. Saving up enough money that she did, she started up a business with her best friend and has now just been working on the business and searching for more tech to make her business grow.
What's her business?
She's a weapons manufacturer for the planet. The people are constantly needing weapons from the constant Udyr attacks. Or how you
For
say the
for
name?
Pan. Sorry, go ahead.
She's from Cordeth, which is Cordeth is the home planet of, well, not the home planet of the Ukari, which are a alien race that humans fought a war with and forced onto reservations.
Were those the horse people?
No, that's the Shantor.
Yeah, that's what I said.
The
No, these are the
Ukari,
cave dwellers. They're like the dark elves.
kind of. They hate humans so much.
Not all of them. There's a few that like them, but majority of them are. So they constantly attack the human settlement. So her factory constantly makes a lot of money for selling armor and weapons and stuff.
So you both know and can make some high-tech stuff. Is there any certain level of tech you could make?
Um, I have a tech expertise of 8. I don't know how the crafting works, but I have a 8 skill set of tools. So I think, yeah, she can.
Sweet. Because I am back in the day I used to have a very powerful artifact weapon that I no longer have. Now that I'm out of service, and I will be looking for some high-tech melee weapons in the near future.
Okay.
She could possibly craft one. It would require a steady. It would require a certain location. She would need, special workbenches and stuff. She has the tools for it, but she would need like materials and stuff.
Sounds good.
So I know that John needs to get going.
Yep.
So good session. I'm actually going to change it, say 3 experience, because you guys role played pretty well, and this is the first session. So just my little gift to you.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
How does
Um,
XP work?
Hmm?
How does XP work?
I can refer you to the player's guide because I don't have the time to explain it all. But it's on page 110. It's kind of like you basically just spend it pretty much like the extra points that you would buy at the in character creation, except you can't buy like benefices and blessings anymore. Now you can just raise your characteristics or your skills, or raise your occult powers or word.
Okay, so I can basically I have 3 points to spin into any tree I feel like.
So you could raise. The way it works though is that so if you wanted to raise your body if you wanted to raise your strength from 5 to 6, you would need to spend basically 3 times the new rating, so 18. It's a lot of points.
Oh, okay, so that kind of goes with cyber tech. I gotcha.
So raising your characteristics are expensive. Skills would be 2 times the new rating. Occult power is 2 times the new level, and word is 2 times the new rating. So experience is very expensive, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
All right. So at that, I'll set the what's it called, game time for next Monday. We'll see if we can do like 6:30 Eastern, which is 5:30 Central.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And yeah, all right. Any other questions? Just text me in Discord. Talk to you guys later.
Sounds
Liam,
good.
Are you,
Good
Liam, are you
session,
out for the
guys.
night?
Have a good night.
See ya.
You too. Hey,
Uh,
Liam,
we'll
are you
Trying
out
to
for the
get the
night?
video
Out for the
on-
night. Not for the night, but I have to go for a little bit. Yes.
Cool. If you're back, then I'll ask just a few questions. Because I basically was trying to like throw together the last part of my character. I want to make sure I'm doing the right things. So,
Yeah. Just you can send it to me, and I will look it over. And if you have any questions, you can text them to me. I just can't be on the voice chat anymore. I have Discord on my phone.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
All right. Talk to you.
Sounds good. Talk to you. Devona, nice meeting you, bud.
Nice meeting you. And I'll get the video up on my channel if you want to watch.
Yeah, cool. Post it in chat here. Do you read